One of the most powerful gifts that we can give each other is the gift of presence, of complete attention, awareness, without chaotic thought loops or repetitious psychological projections, inserting itself into the relationship space. And there's nothing wrong with the mind. It's beautiful. Actually, it really is. I have come to really respect the power of thinking and analyzing and assessing and judging, and it all serves a purpose and a function. And particularly when we are living in a material existence, we use our minds as an extension of our consciousness to form the world, to respond, to shape reality, to manifest. And I believe that it is the balance and the selection of when to be present and when to be active in the mind. That is an important part of the self-mastery journey. But it seems to me that we, at least in the society that I exist in, and that I've always existed in, I've never seen, except for rare examples, I've never seen a social mores set at the baseline that prioritizes presence, unless you're in a meditation center or a spiritual ceremony or some esoteric gathering where they instruct you to be in presence and not to engage in chatter. Because habitually we like to fall into these easy patterns of knowing what to expect. So, for example, I went to this beautiful goddess retreat, and it was just a daytime retreat. And when we arrived, it was so tastefully designed, and the rituals surrounding the entrance and the saging and the whole aesthetics of it were really, really beautiful. And the facilitators asked us to be in presence before the retreat started. And I was honoring that. And I was dismayed, if I am speaking my truth. I was dismayed when somebody came up to me and started engaging in small talk. It was like a record scratching, because I was very much into the enjoyment of presence, but this is something that I had been practicing. And what I have found is that many people are afraid to be quiet with themselves and also with other people. They actually are deeply uncomfortable in the silence of presence. And it's almost as though how we have been trained to be in this world with its chatter and filling the space with mindlessness. Now that I'm a little more grounded, I don't mind it as much as I did when I was very heavy into meditation and struggling to integrate back into the material world. Now I can engage like this, and it's like no water off my back. Like I'm a duck. It's fine. I don't seek it out. I don't necessarily enjoy it, but as I walk around in my little small community, it's a very sociable community. And so I'll be at the park and somebody will strike up a conversation. I rarely do, but I am receptive when people strike up a conversation with me. And I'm always struck by the cadence of that and the dichotomy of the weather. It's rainy or it's sunny. It's hot or it's cold. And we fill our social structures with this glue that is its own form of connection, because it is an adequate way of keeping the distance between you and me, but acknowledging each other all the same. And some of those encounters, especially when they're paired with smiles or positive vibes or energy, can be quite uplifting, just like little nuggets here and there. But almost always, the conversation is meaningless. It's small talk. And I yearn for a world where the social fabrics of our society are different, where we can sit in the energetic presence of one another, because it's a different conversation. And if you have ever had that conversation, you'll know what I mean. You already do, because it is almost like a different language. And even though there's no words, there's a lot that's transmitted. And these conversations can be so powerful that you don't even need to sit that close. And in fact, sometimes keeping a wider distance is a little more comfortable, because the energy field, the radius, can be so powerful. And it's almost as though there's one true self reaching out to another, but not in an obtrusive way, where it is going around and hugging people without their consent, but it's standing there in presence, allowing itself to be felt, seen and witnessed and honored, and allowing somebody else to be in their presence without words, sometimes without even eye contact. And there's something about that experience that straightens the spine, that allows the kundalini to flow a little more readily than when we are trapped in the caverns of our mind, lost in the hamster wheels, which are endlessly turning, and speaking words that we don't even really connect with at any deep, fundamental, soulful level. In fact, I've gotten so good at being absent-minded that I can actually speak and be in a completely different place at the same time. I've only recently realized this, how deep this effect was in me, when I realized that I'm often somewhere else in these pockets of the world. And even though I am behaving a certain way, I'm deeper. I'm so much more inward. Sometimes I'm thinking of different galaxies or other worlds, and I know others are like this too. But it makes me wonder how many of us are like this, just going along with the surface level conversations, yearning for an entirely different social experience. I was walking to the park the other night, and there was this party, a rooftop party, in one of the townhomes that I was walking by. And it caught my attention because the music was so good, and the vibe and the frequency of the playlist was exactly my style. In fact, they were playing a song that I've never heard anywhere else except on one of my playlists. And I was blown away by it and really enjoying it. But this was contrasted by the chatter of the people that reminded me of what these parties were like. Because part of me was thinking, if we share the same music taste and share the same vibe, then I would probably like that group of people. But as I got closer and I heard the chatter, I instinctively just withdrew and had this reaction where I thought to myself, I don't know if I could ever go to a party like that again. I'm sure I would, and I'm sure I will. But there's something about the nature of how we engage with one another that fundamentally I believe needs to alter and shift as we pursue this ascension journey. Because as we step into the light of consciousness and expansion of self, some of these behavior paradigms, especially when they are confined to simply the mind and these rote conversations that we have, almost like repetitious lifting weights, it's just second nature. We just go to the gym and we put in our reps. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But it's so confining. It's its own prison that I feel like we are locked behind this catacomb of existence that doesn't really make sense. Like we are locked into this structure of how to speak and how to behave that I feel like is really outdated. Hi Bob, how's it going? Oh yeah, it's going great. How's the weather today over there in Timbuktu? Yeah, we got 6 inches of rain the other night. Oh really? How is it over there? Oh yeah, it's just da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's its own thing, its own life. Where is the presence in our everyday world, in our minutia? Why do we have to escape to esoteric places to practice being different? And even then, it's so challenging to be different that we still find ourselves slipping into the same. Hey, my name is so-and-so. Nice to meet you. Yeah, so, what do you do? What do I do? That is an interesting question. How do we answer that now? And so when we really start to push the boundaries of our structures of living, and we talk about stepping into a new world and the 5D existence and things of this nature, conscious relationships, and how do we show up differently? How do we showcase our change? How do we showcase our consciousness when we are trapped behind these vestiges of the old world and the glue of social behavior that we are trained and primed and facilitated and encouraged to not deviate from? And I imagine all of those people on the rooftop party being conscious people, having these conversations that they're so used to having and all feeling stuck behind what is expected of them. It's interesting. I struggle. I struggle sometimes in this everyday reality, as I'm sure some of my listeners do as well, because I have some very esoteric, advanced practitioners on the journey who have quite a bit of experience. So how do we integrate into this everyday existence with any semblance of satisfaction, when deep down we might be yearning for a way of connecting that isn't about the social structures that bore us, sometimes to tears? No offense. But it seems to be, and I don't think anybody listening would take offense, but it seems to be this, I don't know, this trap. Really, it's a trap that I can't figure out how to break out of. Except when I was at a conscious community in Costa Rica, and I would sit in the garden, and this is when I smoked. I don't smoke anymore. But I would sit there, and when somebody would approach, sometimes I would ask them if we could just sit in presence without any words. And I've thought of retreats for this, and gatherings for this, parties for this, like music listening parties where we just speak with our energy and there's no conversation. We practice embodying our essence without the mind chatter, without the filler conversation, without the drivel that is comforting and holds us all together, but is ultimately vapid and meaningless at its root, because it's almost just a way to sidestep the fact that we're feeling uncomfortable sometimes. And we don't really know what else to say or ask or do, and so we just default. So you're around here? You live around here, huh? How long have you been here? Oh, yeah, I've been here for da-da-da-da. Oh, really? Do you like it? Yes, yeah, it's great, yeah. Oh, have you discovered the restaurant? No, I haven't. Is it good? Yeah, they have an amazing chef, and have you seen the movie? Da-da-da-da. Have you read the book? Da-da-da-da. Have you heard this podcast? Da-da-da-da. Sharing ideas is powerful. It is a way to intellectually engage with everybody, but when we're all focused outward, it creates this vacuum that I find to be exhilarating to break out of, when we can share things that are about our inside world, not just our opinions of the outside world, but who we are at a deeper fundamental level. But even in lieu of that, just steeping ourselves in each other's presence and the energy field that radiates around us is like a different magic altogether. Don't even get me started on dating and relationships. I knew that there was something different about me when I was with my last partner. And I just wanted them to be quiet. I just wanted them to be quiet. I just wanted us to be quiet with each other and walk under the moonlight on the beach and not just fill the air with, oh, I didn't see that apartment building over there. Oh, how many floors do you think it has? And I looked up at the moon, and I knew then, we're going to break up. We have to break up. This doesn't work. It doesn't work. And now that I have my little one and I see her mind coming online, and our whole day is spent now with her doing this exact thing. Tree, squirrel, clouds. Do you like this? Do you like that? And so I smile to myself because I see this development. She is becoming human. And I smile to myself, knowing that one day she's probably going to yearn to break away from that and step into presence. But for now, I get to hold the space for her mind to come online exactly the way it's designed to do.